So 2023 has ended, just like any other year. And just like any other year, I thought about doing an end of the year review on what I played that year. Except this time, I'm actually doing it. But we're doing it a little differently. Originally, I was going to do this whole song and dance, like these are all the games I played. Oh, and these are the games that I have something to say about, and then that's it. But I saw someone, I don't remember who, but I saw someone doing a tier list on the games of 2023, and I said, you know what? I'm going to steal that. I don't remember the guy's name, but if I find the video again, or if somebody knows who I'm talking about, then tell me and I will give them credit for this amazing idea, never been done before, a tier list. And if you may notice, not all of these games came out this year or last year at this point, because I didn't play every game that came out last year, but I played a pretty decent amount. I feel like a lot of these are from 2023. But I thought it would be more fun to do all the games that I played because it's a bigger pool. And it's not just games. And how I made this list is either a game that came out this year, or a game that I played for the first time, or a game that I came back to after, because there's been so many different updates that it feels like a different game. Like, obviously, I have played Destiny. If you've seen my channel, you know I've played Destiny before. I've played Cyberpunk before. I've played some of these games before, but there have been things that came out or changes that were made that have essentially made it either feel like a new game or I've just came back to it after a long time. So that's how this list was made. And honestly, I kind of forgot a lot of these games came out, I won't lie, and that I played them this year. So, let's just get right into it. This is a little bit of a different video. Let me know if you like it. It's more off the cuff, but I thought it would be fun. So, first off, this is a weird order to start off in, but Fortnite Festival. So Fortnite Festival, except it has like 5 songs, which kind of sucks. You can play as Master Chief singing and hitting the Buddy Holly riff. So, I mean, that's pretty darn tootin' good to me. But there's not a lot in it. Better, and also $5 for a song is wacky. You used to pay like $2 to get a song that you would actually own and download on your iPod, and this is $5, and you can only listen to it or play it in like certain modes. So that's kind of a lame-o move right there. But I'm gonna put it in the honestly probably the clam duster tier. Also, I should explain these tiers. Game of the year, pretty self-explanatory. Kevin, that's my boy. He's the S tier. Ah! That's the A tier because I'm screaming for excitement. But is kind of Charlie inspired, a little Moist Critical inspired right there. Kind of like, not bad, not great, kind of in the middle. Clam Duster, forgettable, not absurdly so. It was there. I played it. Absolute Duty, I mean, that's just pretty self-explanatory. It's shite. And the Liam tier is just bottom of the barrel, below Absolute Duty. So next we have Fallout 76. Technically, it's not the first time I played it, but it kind of is. I played a beta and then when it first came out, and, well, it was not good, to say the least. I think most people know that. They made the amazing decision to make a multiplayer-focused game on an engine that can barely do single-player. And they also decided this would be such a big hit that we don't even need NPCs. They rolled that back, so there's NPCs now, and there's just, I feel like, a bit more polish. It's playable. I mean, I played it and I actually had a decent time. I invested like 70 hours into it. I bought it on sale because a lot of people forget there was a huge drought in 2023 for games in the first half of the year. Got it for like $5. So overall, it's kind of, I don't think it's offensively bad like it probably was. It's more of like, okay. I feel like it's more of a clam duster. The map's cool. I like that. There's a lot of shitty shit in it. I kind of describe it as like a fun bad game. Like, not fun bad as in like it's funny, but it's more like, you know what, this is okay for what it is. Like, it's shit, but I don't mind that it's shit. So I'll put that in the clam duster. Next we got BattleBit Remastered. This thing kind of popped off and popped out of nowhere. It's essentially a low-res Battlefield. It was fun. I think the health may be a little too low. It's kind of annoying, but it kind of made me yearn for an actual good Battlefield game, which kind of, I feel like, ruined it a little bit for me, because I was like, wow, this is great, but I kind of wish this was actually Battlefield. Honestly, I'll put it in the category. I didn't play it as much as I should have, but for what it is, it's actually really good. Teardown is what we have next. Teardown, if you haven't played it, it's a voxel-based game where you just blow shit up. There's really not much to it. More of there for the spectacle just to see shit blow up. Can't really do anything other than that. There's cool custom maps that I haven't really tried out yet. Kind of like a clam duster. If you bought it and you want to see some shit blow up, it's pretty good. You know what? I'll put it in but because it's not a bad game at all. It works fine. It's just there's not a lot to do other than just blow stuff up. And then next we have, oh boy, Spider-Man 2. I can already hear the PlayStation fans or the people who played Call of Duty and Spider-Man all year and said, Spider-Man should have won Game of the Year. What is this Baldur's Gate hoopla? This is not going in Game of the Year. I'll tell you that right now. It's in the but it's very forgettable is what I'd say. And I feel like Spider-Man 2 it really didn't do anything special. The side missions were so god-awful. Fighting is still fun. Fast travel is pretty cool. I feel like I wanted to know what happened, but stuff that happened was kind of boring. Playing as Venom was cool. That was probably the highlight of the game, and I don't think it's that good. It's kind of okay. I could see myself forgetting about it. Next we have Sifu. This game slapped my ass. There's a reason it won Best Game You're Bad At on Steam. Trying to fight the lady in the snow with the kunai. Yeah, that steams my clams. If you're really good at it, it kind of can feel like John Wick hand-to-hand combat. It's pretty cool. For $40, it'd be nice if it was longer and a bit more content. Regardless, I'll put it in the Then we got Detroit Become Human. Oh my god, how has this guy not played it yet? He's a fool. Yeah, I played this at the beginning of the year, so I'm a little hazy on it. But I remember being more excited about the paths and stuff that can happen, and then looking it up after I finished the game, and not being that impressed with it. The voice acting was good, the story was decent, and, it was fine. It's kind of a but. Next, we got Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah, this is a game. I'm not a big Siege head. I don't know all the hoots-and-nannies and whatnot, but I've been having a swell time with it, I won't lie. I'm still bad, but you know what? I'm going to put it in the because it's good. It's good. I think it's good. I wish Monty could put his pistol down faster because I'm kind of a Monty main, but people are going to say, well, Shield shouldn't be in the game in the first place, and I'll be like, oh, shut up. Okay, next we have Jedi Survivor. I'm just going to be honest, that's an absolute duty. The story was awful. Honestly, I literally forgot this game came out. If I didn't have to look for it in this video, like for games that I played, I genuinely would have not known it came out. The PC port, because I play on PC, just unacceptable. 40 FPS maybe. I had to play the game in like 20 to 40 FPS because it was so terribly optimized. Kind of not good, sadly, because the first game was really good. Next we have, actually, I'll do this first. We have the 2.0 update for Cyberpunk. I'm one of those people who liked Cyberpunk prior to this. I actually thought it was a good game, and I had played it a few times prior to the 2.0 update, so it wasn't as big of a change as it was for other people. But I think the 2.0 update definitely cemented Cyberpunk as one of the best RPGs of the generation. It had a big boy comeback, and I'm very happy it did. The big thing that hurt Cyberpunk when it came out was its advertising, which games do be getting in trouble with that. I was not big into the advertisements into this game. I just saw it looked like Blade Runner because it was cyberpunky. I mean, it is cyberpunk, so it's literally cyberpunky. And I'm gonna give this one, because there can only be one in Game of the Year. I'm gonna give it a Kevin. Phantom Liberty. Put that bitch in the Kevin category too. We got like 4 different endings, which are all like actual endings to the game, except for 2 of them maybe. You go to like this party at the top of this thing. I'm not going to spoil it, but I liked it a lot. Phantom Liberty and Cyberpunk 2.0, both definitely in the Kevin category. So then we have Potion Craft. I didn't really play a lot of this game, but from what I played, I would say it's kind of like for what it is, I'd put it in a but. Pretty simple game, not bad. Then we have Lego Fortnite. Oh boy. I guess I forgot it. But I also played Lego Worlds for the first time this year. This is kind of a better Lego Worlds, I won't lie. Especially because you can play as like actual named characters, which is nice. Because I kind of want to play as Lego Star Wars people, because that's my main interest in Legos. Like Lego games and Legos in real life. Most of my stuff is Lego Star Wars. The game in general, it's fun. Essentially build mostly whatever you want. Is really neat. There's not enough enemies. Hunger goes down way too quickly. I also think stuff like trees and rocks and stuff like that should be Lego-fied. I think in the future this game could be a Kevin tier. But right now I think it's kind of just like But if you want a game that's kind of like Valheim, absurdly difficult and annoying, then I would say Lego Fortnite's kind of your jam, and it's free. So, like, since we're speaking about Valheim, let's go to that next. I'm going to put this in the but as well, because there's kind of a lot of jank to it. Unnecessarily hard. Going across the ocean is brain-numbingly slow. I couldn't imagine playing it solo. If I had to play it solo, I think I would commit seppuku. So Valheim, kind of a but. So next we got Resident Evil 4 remake. I'll put that in there. I did not like the original Resident Evil at all. I think it's shite, and I think the reason more action-oriented direction after 4 was because 4 was so successful and people thought it slapped. I'm someone who prefers like Resident Evil 1 and 2, the more slow survival horror type stuff. I thought the Resident Evil 4 remake did a pretty decent job at reeling back Resident Evil 4. Leon's not as cringe in it, and I feel like the villains aren't as cringe, surprisingly, to myself. Next, we have Killer Frequency. I didn't finish Killer Frequency. I thought the voice acting was really bad. I bought it because I was like, oh, it's kind of like an investigation game. You kind of figure out who the killer is. But you don't know any of the characters. They just call in, and you're like, I don't know who you are. And then you direct them to save them. It's not that great. Honestly, I'd put this in absolute duty. Next, we got Modern Warfare 3. Despite my campaign review, I am going to put this in the I think the multiplayer in Modern Warfare 3, which is the main draw, at least for me, because if this was zombies, I'd put this in the clam duster. If I bought this for the campaign, Liam tier, absolutely. Honestly, probably below Liam tier. I have to take in all modes into account. Okay, I'll put in the but, because I think the multiplayer is but the campaign is so bad. Big zombies guy, it's fine. It's fine. Taking into account all the game modes, Modern Warfare 3 is a but. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach did some live streams of this. I want to put it between Clam Duster and Absolute Booty. I think I'm going to put it in Absolute Booty. The map, it's so unnecessarily large. Most of my time was spent just wandering back and forth between places, trying to figure out what the fuck to do. If you're a FNAF fan, maybe you really liked it. I did not particularly care for it, and it definitely overstays its welcome. Last of Us Part 1, not talking about the actual Last of Us Part 1 or the remake. I'm talking about the remake port to the PC. This goes in Liam category, for sure. Completely unacceptable. Just so pathetic what they did to it. I'm already upset about how they took out multiplayer and then they killed the multiplayer project. You just fucked us even more. You wasted our time. You wasted our money. And then they sold it for $60 on Steam, but they sold it for $70 on PlayStation, which is wacky. It's even more unacceptable is just how the game launched, how buggy it was, and just... I haven't played it yet on PC because it has ran so god awful. And the shaders sometimes they don't even load, but the shader loading takes hours. It's ridiculous. Shouldn't have been released at that price point. Absolutely disgusted with that. Sengoku Dynasty. Haven't played enough of this, really, but I think it's got potential. I'd say it's a clam duster right now. It could be in the or maybe even Kevin, but right now it's kind of a clam duster. Ready or Not. I bought this game when it first came out in early access. It ran terrible then, and it runs somehow either just as bad or worse. I'm now running it on medium settings, no VSync. I can barely get 60 FPS. The AI, they did a big overhaul with it apparently. All they did, from what I could see, is make it so they're more OP. The AI is unrealistically alert and on it. They'll just shoot you through the door if you're dead silent, or they'll headshot you no matter what. And Ready or Not, I'm judging based off the 1.0 because it technically came out in 2023. I'll be generous and I'll put this at a but. I think it 1,000,000% has the ability to be either Game of the Year or Kevin category, but as it stands right now, I don't think it's there yet. Next, we got Alan Wake Remastered. Biggest problem with the game is that it doesn't really start until halfway through the end of Chapter 3, so that's pretty bad. The shooting is okay, kind of a better version of Resident Evil 4's, like the original one's shooting. Yeah, Alan Wake Remastered, I think if I judged it on the second half of the story, I'd put it in the but I think as it is, kind of a clam duster, honestly. You would think I'd maybe put that in the clam duster along with Alan Wake 1. No, that baby goes to game of the year. I'll tell you right now. This shit is one of the most technically impressive games I've ever seen. The way you can load in and out of stuff in an instant. And not only that, when you go to stuff like the Mind Place or the Writer's Room, your game is still in the background. Stuff can still attack you. So it's essentially dual loading things, which is wacky. I mean, the story, the way they introduce live action elements into it, it slaps. Honestly, I don't really want to say much more about the game. Get it. That's all I could say. The only problem I have with it is that it's on the Epic Games Store, which is very close to lowering it down to a Kevin. But because I thought it was definitely the best game I've played of 2023. That's a game of the year, baby. So yeah, buy Alan Wake 2. That game slaps. I am now a Remedy fan thanks to that. Trombone Champ, this is a clam duster. It's a silly, stupid game. I won't lie, I saw Vanoss and Wildcat play it, and I was like, that looks silly, I'm gonna buy that. Weed Shop 3, another silly game, but honestly kind of slapped. The grind was a little too hard, but it's kind of a butt. Slay the Spire, honestly haven't played enough of this. It's kind of like Inscription, honestly, but I think Inscription is better. From what I've played, I'll give it a butt, because it's kind of in the middle for me, where it could definitely go up to an but it could go down to a clam duster. Mortal Kombat 1, kind of a clam duster, I won't lie. I was dummy hyped for it, but it did not deliver. The story started off pretty strong, ended with a pretty big toot. I don't know why they had to introduce multiverse into it, which is fucking lame as shit, but they said, we want to go that route. Even though there's barely been anybody who's done the multiverse properly. There is no crypt. There is no... I've heard of the Conquest mode, which I actually played on my Steam Deck this year, which was kind of cool. That's a neat mode that they just said, we're not doing that. Instead, they put in this Invasion mode, which is boring as fuck. The customization is massively toned down from Mortal Kombat 11. The fighting still slaps, and not having Quan Chi in the game, having him as a DLC character is wacky. And again, having Shang Tsung as another character you have to buy on top of the game if you didn't pre-order it is wacky again. So that's definitely a clam duster. Sons of the Forest, honestly, I'm going to put that on an It has the potential, and I think it will reach it, to be a Kevin. I think it needs some more stuff with its building. The story is not done yet, but I think it was plenty fun to play when I played it when it first came out. I'm sure there's a lot more stuff in it. I think they added new caves and stuff like that. But Sons of the Forest slaps. I think it could be way better if they just finished the story and fixed the building, made it a little better. Street Fighter 6, I'm just going to put that on an I think the fighting, significantly worse than Mortal Kombat 1. I'm just going to be real with that. Significantly worse. But you can beat up old women and make monstrosities in this game, and that's why I bought it. So for that, it slaps. I'd say it's an House Flipper 2, I'm going to put that in a Kevin. There's some stuff that sounded weird. I'm going to put that in a Kevin. Twitch clip that, alright? House Flipper 2. There's some stuff that's not as good as House Flipper 1, but this is one of my guilty pleasure games where it's honestly probably just an asset flip, but I don't really give a fuck because it's fun. Going and decorating a house, cleaning up trash, just kind of fun. No Man's Sky, I bought this game when it originally came out. I was so disappointed in it, like I'm sure literally everybody else. It slaps now. That goes in a Kevin. I'm going to put Starfield in the Liam category just because I want to. Realistically, it's probably Absolute Duty, but I'm going to put it in the Liam category. Absolutely pathetic. I don't know why I convinced myself to buy this game. The story is terrible. None of the characters are interesting. The only redeeming factor about Starfield is the shipbuilding, which doesn't even matter because the ship essentially is a cosmetic where you can float around in space, do nothing, and then fast travel to the planet where your ship is meaningless. The game runs like shit. It proves again why the creation engine, just because you slap a 2 on it, doesn't make it actually a new engine or any better. Complete miss, terrible. If the next Elder Scrolls game doesn't have a new engine, whether it just be on Unreal or something else that's already made, I'm not playing it. I don't give a shit. All the worlds are utterly boring, and even if space is supposed to be like that, I don't care. It's a video game. So yeah, that's terrible. On to the next. Lego DC Supervillains. Kind of an possibly could go in the Kevin category, I won't lie. There's a lot of cool stuff in this. An insane amount of DC characters in it, not just the supervillains. One of the best Lego games that came out in a while. Lightfall, I mean, obviously that's a Liam tier, obviously. There's so much that I never talked about that's going on with Bungie right now, which if you pay attention to Destiny, you know about. It just started a domino effect that I would be surprised At this point, honestly, if the final shape came out and anybody gave a fuck, I think Lightfall essentially, I know people say this all the time, I think it killed Destiny. Complete shame. I have wasted 9 years of my life playing this game, and and this is what happens at the end. So love that. Lethal Company, Kevin tier. The only thing that would put this to like a clam duster would be if I played it by myself. Thank God I am lucky that I have friends to play this with, and it makes it so much better. Not a lot to the game. You go, you pick shit up, you bring it back, you give it to a squid guy behind a wall, he gives you money, and you do it over again. It's simple, it's silly, and it's just a fun time. Especially if you add mods, add some new aspects to it. It's just a fun, silly time. Stardew Valley, I'm gonna add to I'm gonna put to a but I played a pretty decent amount. Walking between places, for some reason, takes way too long. Walking from like your house to the shop takes like 2 hours, which is ridiculous. It can be relaxing, and then sometimes it can be kind of annoying. But if you're looking for a chill little time, it might be better with friends. I don't know. I've never played it with friends. But as a solo experience, it's alright. Lego Batman 3, that's a clam duster. Not good. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put that in absolute duty. This game kind of fucking sucked. The story was bad, and that's honestly all I can remember about it. The world thing was weird as shit. I think Darkseid was the villain of it, maybe? I don't know. I don't fucking remember. I literally don't even remember the story about this game. It was terrible. And I will never play it again, but I did 100% it. The finals, I'm going to put that at a... For right now, it has the ability to definitely go down to absolute duty if it doesn't keep up what it's doing right now. But it's kind of absolutely wacky and silly that they made it so you could earn stuff in the beta and then said, actually, all that stuff that you could earn, actually now you have to spend like $10 or more to buy it. I get it's free, doesn't excuse it. You should have stuff that you could earn into it. It has a battle pass, which is like you're really thinking out of the box with that. Outlast Trials, if I could put 2 games in Game of the Year, I would put that right next to Alan Wake 2. But because I can't, I'm going to put that in a Kevin tier for sure. The only problem with Outlast Trials is that it does not have enough content. And I also don't blame the company that made it. Because Red Barrels is not a big company at all. They have like 40 people that work there. They put a lot into it. They're working hard to get it to where it needs to be. The only problem is that when they released it, I think they kind of left it out there to die because they're not a studio that can support it as a live service game as it's meant to be. I'm pretty sure they put it out because they had to. Like, they felt like it was in a decent place and they needed it to make money because, again, they're not a big studio. Hopefully it comes back is what I'll say. Deep Rock Galactic, that's pretty simple game. You're just a bunch of dwarves looking for loot bugs and some other stuff. It's fun to play with friends. Again, I mean, most things are. I don't know how this would be solo. I mean, it's still kind of decent. Maybe a clam duster solo. It's fun. Hogwarts Legacy, that's sadly a clam duster. I know I gave it a pretty favorable review, but when I think back on it, I again forgot it came out this year. The world space, like Hogwarts itself, is definitely what's keeping it from absolute duty. Same with the combat. The combat's pretty decent, but it's not crazy. It could live in the butt. You know what? I'll give it the butt because I'll be generous. I'm feeling generous. Actually, you know what? I'm putting it back down to clam duster. I forgot the way it ran on PC was absolutely just atrocious and unacceptable. How it ran like 40 FPS. I mean, I know it was loading in a bunch of stuff at the same time, and being able to go throughout the castle not really having a loading screen is very impressive. But again, it's unacceptable how it ran, especially on a PC like I have. And then we have Hades. That's a Kevin tier. Personally, there's not that much replay value for me after I beat it, but I could definitely see why somebody would play it a bunch of times over and over. There's a surprising amount of customization in the game, and it's just a really fun roguelike to play. Then we have Darkest Dungeons. I'm going to put that in a clam duster because if you don't know what it is, it's a turn-based fighting game. It's Lovecraftian in its setting. The thing that really pisses me off is the turns make absolutely no sense. Supposedly it has to do with speed, but again, I'm not even sure that's true. But also it makes it so you can't really play how you want if you want to go all the time, because there'll be times where one of your guys goes and then the whole other team goes and then they go again, and that shit pisses me off. But if they had like a sensical one, I would put this in maybe an tier because it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's the final list for the games I've played of 2023. What do you guys think? Honestly, if you thought Starfield was good, I don't care. It's bad. I'm sorry. If you had fun with it, that's great. If you like this video, give me a like. Let me know if you like this kind of stuff where I'm just kind of off the cuff, rambling about random shit I did or random shit I played over the year. And thanks for watching.